The Iron Jungle, a place where muscles are forged and sweat is a currency. The gym is a sanctuary for many, a place to push limits and break barriers, a place of clanging metal and grunting gym-goers. This was Danny's domain. Amidst the serious faces and intense focus, Danny found his calling. Danny, the self-proclaimed king of gym pranks. With a mischievous glint in his eye, he roamed the gym floor, always on the lookout for his next unsuspecting victim. He thrived on the gasps of surprise when he'd sneakily add a plate to someone's bench press. The look of bewilderment on their faces was his reward, or swap out dumbbells for lighter ones mid-set. The confusion that followed was priceless. Danny's antics were legendary. The gym echoed with his laughter. Danny wasn't malicious. He never intended to harm anyone. His pranks were always in good fun. He just loved a good laugh. To him, the gym was more than just a place to work out. It was a stage for his playful antics. He considered it his way of injecting some fun into the often serious atmosphere of the gym. He believed that a little humor could go a long way. He figured everyone needed a good chuckle, especially those who took their workouts a tad too seriously. The gym could be an intimidating place, and Danny's pranks were a way to lighten the mood. He'd been at it for months, and his reputation preceded him. Newcomers were often warned about the prankster in their midst. People knew to be on guard when Danny was around. They'd glance over their shoulders, half expecting a prank at any moment. But little did he know his reign of gym-based humor was about to meet its match. A new member had joined the gym, someone who had heard of Danny's antics and was ready to turn the tables. The stage was set for an epic showdown of wits and pranks. One Tuesday, the gym door swung open and a hush fell over the room. The usual clatter of weights and hum of treadmills seemed to pause as if the gym itself was holding its breath. Two figures walked in, their presence commanding immediate attention. They moved with a purpose, their steps echoing through the suddenly silent gym. A man and a woman, both radiating an aura of quiet strength. Their physiques were a testament to years of dedication and hard work, each muscle sculpted to perfection. The man, tall and built like a granite statue, scanned the gym with eyes that seemed to see right through you. His gaze was intense, almost as if he was measuring the worth of every piece of equipment and every person in the room. The woman, equally imposing, moved with a grace that belied her obvious power. Her movements were fluid, each step a dance of strength and elegance. Danny, perched on a weight bench sizing up his next potential victim, spotted them. He was the gym's resident prankster, always on the lookout for new targets. Fresh meat, he thought, rubbing his hands together with a mischievous grin. He loved a good challenge, and these two looked like they could provide just that. He watched as they effortlessly unloaded weights onto a squat rack that made the bar bend in a way that seemed physically impossible. His eyes widened in disbelief. They handled the weights as if they were mere toys. This was going to be good, he thought, his excitement growing. He could already imagine the look on their faces when his prank unfolded. He sauntered over, a mischievous glint in his eye. He had a reputation to uphold, and he wasn't about to let these newcomers off easy. He'd wait for the perfect moment, the moment of maximum exertion, and then, bam, his prank would be legendary, talked about for weeks. He'd unleash his prankster genius, a masterstroke of mischief that would cement his status as the gym's ultimate trickster. The stage was set, and Danny was ready to play his part. The man, oblivious to Danny's intentions, stepped under the bar. With a deep breath, he unracked the weight, each step deliberate and controlled. He squatted, deep, controlled, powerful. It was like watching a human forklift. Danny had never seen such strength. This wasn't just brute force, though. This was controlled power, every movement precise. Danny felt a pang of respect. He'd never felt that in the gym before. He hesitated, his prank forgotten. As the man re-racked the weight with a soft click, Danny finally worked up the courage to speak. "That was incredible," he stammered. The man turned, a small smile gracing his lips. "Thanks," he replied, his voice surprisingly gentle. "Years of hard work." Danny, emboldened by the man's demeanor, decided to be straightforward. "I'm Danny," he said, extending a hand. "I usually try to prank people with the weights, but you two are on another level." The woman chuckled, her eyes twinkling. "We've been called worse," she said. The man, still smiling, nodded towards the squat rack. "You interested in learning how to do that properly? The right way, not the prankster way." And just like that, the king of gym pranks became the student. The man, who introduced himself as Mark, explained the importance of proper form, of controlled movements, of respecting the iron in your body. Dropping weights might seem cool, he said, but it's dangerous and disrespectful. Section 5. The wisdom of static holds. Mark's training philosophy intrigued Danny. It was unlike anything he had encountered before. Danny had always been focused on the traditional methods of lifting weights, pushing himself to the limit with each rep. But Mark's approach was different, almost revolutionary in its simplicity. It wasn't just about lifting heavy, it was about mastering your body. Mark emphasized the importance of control, of understanding one's own physical limits and then gently pushing beyond them. This was a new concept for Danny, who had always equated progress with the amount of weight he could lift. Mark explained his focus on static holds, exercises that required maintaining a position for a set period of time. These isometric exercises were designed to build strength and stability in a way that dynamic movements couldn't. Isometric exercises that built strength and stability. Mark demonstrated a plank, holding his body perfectly still, every muscle engaged. It was a display of pure control and focus. It's not just about moving the weight, he said, it's about controlling it. This was a revelation for Danny, who had never considered the importance of control in his workouts. Holding a plank position effortlessly, it's about controlling it. Mark's words echoed in Danny's mind as he watched the demonstration. The level of control and precision was something he had never seen before. Danny, struggling to hold a plank for even half as long, was amazed. He realized that there was a whole new level of fitness that he had yet to explore. This wasn't just about brute strength, it was about mental fortitude. Mark explained that the mind played a crucial role in these exercises. It was about maintaining focus, pushing through the discomfort and staying in control. It was about mental fortitude, about pushing your limits in a controlled and safe way. Danny began to understand that true strength wasn't just physical, it was mental as well, about pushing your limits in a controlled and safe way. This approach minimized the risk of injury while maximizing the benefits of each exercise. It was a holistic way of training that considered both the body and the mind. This was a side of training Danny had never considered. He had always been focused on the external, on the visible gains, but Mark was teaching him to look inward, to understand his own body and mind. He'd always thought it was all about how much you could lift, how much you could show off. The gym had always been a place of competition for him, a place to prove his strength, how much you could show off. But now he was beginning to see it differently. The gym was becoming a place of self-discovery, a place to understand his own limits and then push beyond them in a safe and controlled manner. But Mark was showing him a different path, a path that emphasized self-improvement over competition. It was about becoming the best version of himself, not just the strongest. A path of self-improvement through discipline and dedication. Danny realized that this was the true wisdom of static holds. It was a journey of mastering both the body and the mind, a journey that he was now eager to embark on. Section 6. Frequency over fanaticism. Mark also emphasized the importance of balance. He trained 3 times a week, each session lasting around 90 minutes. It's about quality over quantity, he explained. You don't need to live in the gym to see results. This resonated with Danny. He'd always been intimidated by the thought of spending hours upon hours in the gym, but Mark's approach seemed manageable, sustainable. Rest is just as important as training, Mark added. Your body needs time to recover and grow stronger. Section 7. The power of proper form. As Mark and the woman, Sarah, demonstrated various exercises, Danny couldn't help but notice the complete absence of wasted movement. Every lift was a symphony of control and precision. Proper form isn't just about looking good, Sarah explained, adjusting Danny's posture during a bench press. It's about protecting your body and maximizing the effectiveness of the exercise. Danny, used to heaving weights with reckless abandon, felt a new kind of burn, a good burn. As he focused on his form, he realized that true strength wasn't just about how much weight you could move, but how well you could move it. Section 8. A digital dojo awaits. At the end of their session, Mark handed Danny a card. This has a link to my online coaching program, he said. It's got everything I've learned about training over the years. Danny looked at the card, then back at Mark and Sarah. They weren't just strong, they were generous, willing to share their knowledge with someone who had, just hours earlier, been trying to prank them. It's not just about lifting weights, Mark added. It's about building a community, a support system. We all start somewhere. We all. Section 9. Prankster transformed. Danny walked out of the gym that day, a changed man. He still had a mischievous glint in his eye, but it was different now. It wasn't about pranks anymore. It was about the joy of pushing his limits, of becoming the best version of himself. He still chuckled to himself as he imagined the look on his fellow gym-goers' faces when they saw him next. But this time it wouldn't be because of a prank. It would be because of the dedication and focus etched on his face. The quiet confidence of someone who had found their path in the iron jungle. The king of gym pranks was dead. Long live the student of strength.